Alright, so hello everybody. Welcome to round 1 of the ZeroEmpires Invitational Tournament for Age of Empires 2 HD Edition, the Forgotten Expansion Pack. So I'm Resonance22, and tonight I'm going to be casting the round 1 of the tournament between Laxatory and Lombard. The settings for this particular match, it's going to be played on Acropolis, which is a map unique to the Forgotten, of course. It's a map where both players start on hills, which are very lightly forested. Your main gold and stone is on that, but you're basically forced to eventually go to the lowlands if you want to get the rest of the resources on the map, and you can't build on the hill either. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to briefly show you guys the tournament brackets on the screen before this match begins, if you're curious. So, should see... There we go. There's Lombard and Laxatory. I guess you can always just go to the URL yourself whenever you want to, but I will scroll through that kind of quickly. And not all of the matches have been played yet, of course, and I will just be casting this one. But yeah, so let's get into this match, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight, and I am ready. As soon as these guys are ready, this match will begin, so hope you guys are pumped. I think these are going to be some potentially really good matches. Quite excited for this one. Didn't I set the open broadcaster software to always be on top? Yeah, whatever. As soon as these dudes are ready, we will begin the stream. He is deflustering. Yeah, I'm ready. Alright, let the games begin. Now, it does occur to me, though, that I do need to turn on my game sound as well. So I do not have my music on today. Okay, so as I said earlier, guys, there's going to be a mirror match of... Oh my god, they got the Incas. Alright, this is interesting. It's been a really long time since I've actually casted a tournament. It's been quite a while, if you guys remember that. I casted most of the matches from the Aoe2 HD OZ Clans tournament. We don't usually get tournaments in Aoe2 HD Edition, so it's kind of nice for a change that we actually got one. I'm a huge fan of that for sure. But yeah, these guys got... looks like they ran into the Incas. Both of them did. That's actually ridiculous. For whatever reason, if your music isn't on at first, it doesn't seem to play, but I will try and get the in-game music to actually start. So yeah, they both ran into the Incas, which are a pretty peculiar civ for sure. If you're not sure what the Incas do, I'll go over their civilization relatively quickly. They start with a free llama, which is basically just a free sheep with slightly better line of sight. Their villagers are affected by blacksmith upgrades, houses get 10 population, not 5, and their buildings cost less stone. Their team bonus is that farms build slightly faster, which you might think is a really crappy economic bonus, and you'd be kind of right, but it does actually make kind of a difference in the long run, honestly. It does give you a decent amount of extra food. So the Incas are a peculiar civ in that out of all the Mesoamerican civs, because most people are aware that the Aztecs and the Mayans are considered to be two of the best overall civs in the game. They've got really, really strong economic bonuses as well as military units, and part of that comes from their quite good Eagle Warriors. While the Aztec Eagle Warriors, since they have bonus attack damage with their unique tech, Garland Wars, they're really good in the early Imperial Age as raiding units, and, well, the Mayan Eagle Warriors, with their extra 40 HP due to El Dorado, definitely makes them quite a threat. It makes them very tanky and actually good in combat. Now, the Incas bonus for their Eagle Warriors, since those are the only 3 civs that get them, they get 10% bonus movement speed, which is not a very useful combat stat. So that's something to consider, is that the Incas, really their main strength is in the Feudal Age. Since their buildings cost less stone, the Incas have a very, very strong tower rush, actually. And on a map like Acropolis, that could potentially be quite effective, considering that you do actually have to, leave the top of your hill at some point this game if you want to get your resources. Basically, with Acropolis is you've got your main gold and your main stone at the top of this hill. It's very easy to defend. Your opponent can't build on this hill, you can't either. This is, I guess, rocky terrain or whatever you want to call it. You can't build on that. And it's very lightly forested up here, as you can see. You've got deer, your boar and everything like that, but if you want some heavy-duty forests, you gotta go at the bottom of this hill. So that can be, well, quite scary, honestly, especially if your opponent has some buildings down there. Definitely on a map like Acropolis, where it's so ridiculously difficult to wall, it can favor some early aggression, but also the hill can make that difficult as well. I personally don't have very much experience playing on Acropolis, but neither do really any of the players in this tournament, so that's partially what's going to make this tournament so interesting, is that ZeroEmpires has decided to make it, all the maps be, well, interesting maps, I guess. There are maps that we don't normally see. There are very, very few 1v1 Arabia matches in this, and if I had my way, I would love to have, I would love to have had some arena in here, but there does not appear to be any arena in this tournament. But yeah. Next match is going to be Budapest, which should be interesting, and I'll go over what Budapest actually is in that game. So yeah, I'm sorry that the matches, I guess, are kind of inconvenient time for you guys. That's not really up to me. Oh god! Oh my god! Lombard just lost a build of that boar. And I actually saw that, so... Whew. Take a shot, everybody. Yes. That just happened. It's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Looks like Laxatory here is going for a drush.
Yes.
These matches are live, by the way, guys, so I'm just, recording this whenever they're ready, basically. Yeah, Laxatory is definitely going for a drush here. I mean, you can tell because he's putting up a barracks, so he's going to go for some early militia. He's going to use those to harass the enemy economy quite a bit. And as you can see, he's mining 10 gold from his main gold deposit right here. He's going to drop that off. That's going to leave him with a grand total of 60 gold, which is enough for 3 militia, because militia costs 20 gold each. It doesn't look like he actually has money for the militia right now, but it looks like, yeah, he's going to start queuing them up right now. Standard to go for a 3 militia drush, definitely, and, Laxatory has intelligently scouted Lombard's base quite diligently, and he has not yet seen a barracks or anything like that. Lombard has still yet to put one down, so he might not even go for a drush at all. Looks like Lombard has a different game plan than Laxatory here, so it'll be quite curious to see how this one unfolds, for sure. I think I have to say, though, that I like Laxatory's map just a teeny bit better, I guess. It's hard to say. I mean, Acropolis is such a weird map, but I do like that, I guess, Laxatory has some slightly easier defensible wood over here and over here. It's a little bit easier for him to wall off, I guess, especially this wood. But, Lombard can always march troops over here, so... Acropolis is a really hard, really open map. I'm really curious to see who's going to win these matches and this tournament in general, because really, even though there is a pretty significant skill discrepancy between some of the players in this tournament, none of these guys, I don't think any of them are self-proclaimed Budapest masters or masters of Inca Mirror on Nomad and whatnot, so can't really... it's really going to come down to execution here, I guess, because not too many of these players have played these maps that often, I guess. But yeah, looks like Lombard here is going to go advance with the standard, 21 pop to go up to Feudal Age, and he's not going for any sort of drush. You'll see right here that he is walling. He's using partially built palisade walls to protect his 2 builders who are building this barracks right now. So that's going to mean that when the militia come by, he's just doing that so that the militia can't stop him from putting that barracks up. Now, Lax is scouting here quite well, and Lombard is doing a quick wall. Hopefully he'll be able to get this palisade up, and yes, he does. We'll see if he'll actually get the entire quick wall up, and this is very well played by Lombard here. He reacted just in time and just completely negated this drush. This is what you guys should be doing if you see your opponent coming at you with militia, is you just, quick wall up around your, your lumber camps and whatnot, and just really try and negate the damage that the militia can do, because even though militia are super weak and they will lose a straight-up 1v1 fight to a villager with loom, they're still a really potent harassment force, because anytime you attack a unit with your militia, you're actually making that villager idle, essentially. It's as if that villager wasn't doing anything at all if he has to, punch you back. So if you just prevent the militia from getting in there. And another fantastic quick wall from Lombard here. He's really playing this map like quite perfectly. The militia haven't got to do anything yet. And this is critical to consider because remember that, you know, investing in 3 militia is, well, it's quite a pretty big food investment, right? That's 180 food, 60 food each. And that's all of Laxatory's gold as well. So that's really going to slow him down. And once again, Lombard with a very excellently done quick wall here. Protecting his villagers, and what he's trying to do is he's trying to create a choke point here. He doesn't need to close this wall entirely, because Laxatory can't possibly walk through this path. If he does, he's going to be walking under the town center. And that's why you kind of want to use your town center in the early game as some sort of makeshift gate, I guess. You want to use it to protect your villagers, because your opponent is never going to be caught dead walking through that. And Lombard, just for good measure here, is going to quick wall around this one vill. And you don't even need to finish these walls either. He can just finish building them if Laxatory decides to commit to this, and he's not. So, welcome to the stream, Ziplocs. What's the time limit on calling Re? Actually, I don't think that's specified at all in the tournament, but, you know, I'm pretty flexible about it, so whatever they want, but I'm assuming it would be in the first 5 minutes. As you can tell, guys, Laxatory 14 minutes in here has just advanced to the Feudal Age, and, you know, that's what going for a drush is going to do. The point is with the drush is that you want to slow down and harass your opponent so that you two can build up. And, you know, we've been looking at Lombard's economy. I haven't really talked about it yet, but it's kind of obvious is that he's got so many villas on gold, right? He put down 2 archer ranges. He's clearly going archers here. And the thing is, in this case, is since Laxatory has essentially not really accomplished much with his drush at all, this puts Lombard in a huge lead, because Lax's Feudal Age was way slower. It was like 4 minutes slower. He hasn't accomplished anything with this. All he's done is he's wasted some of Lombard's wood, which isn't that significant. And here, Lombard has a huge military advantage. Let's check back on Laxatory, though. We'll see if he decides to fast castle off his drush, or if he's going to also go archers. Because, yeah, a good way to go for a fast castle age on these open maps is that, well, you want to drush the opponent first. You got to contain them in their base, because if you go for a quick castle age, you know, it's going to leave you defenseless. And then you're just a sitting duck if archers come at you. Which is, well, thankfully he is going for archers, though, and he's not going for fast castle age right now, as we can see, by him queuing up some archers in these ranges. Now, one thing that is important to consider here is that, okay, if he's not watching this vill, he won't get this wall. Okay, no, he does get the wall up, but Lombard will be able to destroy this, you know, incomplete palisade really quickly. One thing that's important to consider is that if Lombard notices, which he hasn't yet, because he hasn't scouted a lot of the map at the moment, if Lombard was scouting the map like completely, then he would have noticed that Laxatory made a very dangerous but potentially helpful maneuver, is that he is actually taking wood at the bottom of the map on the lowlands of Acropolis right now. And that's really risky, because, I mean, while he is conserving a lot of wood in his base, that's really, like, far from his own base. Those villagers cannot escape back to the town center. They can't run away, and they'll basically all just die as soon as Lombard discovers it, and it's only a matter of time. So we see some pretty good archer stutter stepping and control here by Laxatory, actually, is that he's gotten quite a few of Lombard's archers for free. The thing is here, though, is that Lombard has such a huge military advantage that it doesn't matter. Like, Lombard here is consciously taking the trade from the archers to the enemy villagers, and Lombard is more than happy to trade 1 or 2 archers for a villager. Because right now the thing is that Lombard has established complete map control, essentially. Laxatory is forced to play completely reactively at this point. Laxatory's bottling his base, he has to deal with these archers, and we see some really good micro from both players here. Again, really good archer micro from Lax here, as he's probably going to be able to he's going to be able to take out Lombard's army, no problem. But yeah, and this time, this is getting Lombard a slight lead for sure, but he is going to lose all these archers, but really great military management by Laxatory here. Another reason why these fights are going so far in favor of Laxatory— oh, there's a hole in this wall! Okay, that's really interesting. I did not notice that, but thankfully Lax sees that now, so he can definitely close that if need be. But he can always just, you know, bottle in some Unit 2 to block it. But yeah, is that Lombard has no upgrades on his archers right now. He doesn't have any blacksmith upgrades, whereas Laxatory is completely upgraded. Oh, actually, this is turning out to be quite interesting. One thing to consider here is that Laxatory actually While he is still at a military disadvantage, you know, we can see Lombard's got quite a sizable army, and he has intelligently thrown in a skirmisher or two, which will definitely help. Like, he just realized he forgot fletching. Yeah, that was the reason why his army really got slaughtered up there, is he has no fletching. But yeah, you want to throw in a couple skirms in with your archers if the enemy has like mono archers, because just having like 1 or 2 in there can really make a huge difference. You can really turn the tides, but you know the reason that you'll see players going for archers all the time is that they don't cost food, so it doesn't really slow down your castle age that much. But yeah, thankfully Lombard's getting his upgrades right now. What I wanted to talk about is that Laxatory is actually really close to the castle age. If you look at his stockpiled resources, he almost has 800 food and 200 gold, and he just clicked up right now. And if we check out Lombard, he is not quite there yet. He's getting closer, but he isn't there yet. And he does not have padded archer armor either, but he wants to hold on to that food so he can click up. And alright, this is good, is that Laxatory here is actually getting a couple of these archers for free, because he's cutting off the queue of them as they come out of Lombard's base, and Lombard has good enough map awareness that he's noticed that, and he's pulling the archers back. Now he's going to actually be able to get one of Laxatory's archers here for free as Lombard attempts to go into Laxatory's main gold, and I think this is a really good decision on his part to put this watchtower right here as well, as this will do a lot of damage to Lombard's army. And in this case, he kind of has to put a tower down, because if he doesn't, he has no troops here to back this up, and he can't afford to get zoned off his main gold, because then he's not going to be able to build any archers. Lombard here is also taking a ton of economic damage, though. These farmers, specifically, are in huge danger, and he's probably going to want to wall off that small little area right there so those archers just don't go rampaging through these fields. Really, right now, both players are taking a huge blow to their economy, and this game is actually remarkably even. I'm quite surprised how this match is turning out. But yeah, Lax is going to get to the castle age first for sure, and even though Lombard has a couple skirms in here and he's going to do a lot of damage, the thing is that Laxatory is making a really bold play here, as he actually has this lumber camp here yet, and Lombard hasn't scouted that yet. So Lombard might think he's doing a ton of damage to Laxatory's economy, and he is, but relatively speaking, it's not as big of a deal as what Lombard is dealing with right now. Lombard is getting, like, completely zoned off his wood, because he doesn't have a secret lumber camp, but Laxatory's really risky maneuver of having that secret lumber camp is really paying off right now. Lombard hasn't scouted it yet, and even though, Lombard has free reign over Laxatory's base, he cannot figure out, like, where is Laxatory getting all this money? And he has a lumber camp right over here, and he's gonna put down a TC as well. Oh goodness, until Lombard scouts that, that's gonna really bite him in the butt. And of course, since he got to the castle age first as well, that is going to give him the crossbowman upgrade and the bodkin arrow, which I'm sure he'll be getting in combination soon to get a huge power spike. Lombard is up to the castle age right now, so they're on relatively even footing. Lombard is going heavier into skirms right now, because he just needs to deal with these accursed crossbowmen. But this lack of wood is becoming a big issue. I mean, if you look right now, Lombard, this is really the best wood he has, which is not really going to work out for him, certainly. Hey, Turkman, welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you around as always. Yeah, this is a remarkably close match, honestly. Like, the fact that Laxatory here has decided to have a secret economy is really paying off. All he really needs to do, well, yeah, he has to try and carefully garrison the farmers inside his town center every time Lombard comes by to try and snipe one. But Lombard can't really get Laxatory off this gold because of the watchtower in the town center here, and he has no idea where Lax is getting all this wood. And Lombard for sure is not getting any wood. Like, if you look at okay, Lombard is actually still at a pop advantage, as curious as that is. Okay, this really should not be the case, but at least he has a second TC, so... Alright, so Laxatory has the largest army of 9. They both have, like, really tiny armies, so wow, okay, I guess Lombard still, despite having his base wide open here and really his entire economy exposed, he's actually somehow managed to still sustain an eco lead, even though Laxatory is also on 2 TCs. So... that's actually kind of curious, definitely. So even though Lombard really... I guess he shouldn't have been able to do as much damage to Laxatory's economy as he did, Lombard clearly killed a ridiculous amount of villagers here, and I'm pretty surprised in that regard. That is Lombard should definitely be behind here, but wow, he has like a, oh my god, it's like a 14 pop lead. That really matters right now. I know that field, Turk, man. It's for me it's usually allergies, but I know that field, man. Glad you came by anyway. All right, so there are a couple skirms coming in here from Laxatory, but these two skirms alone aren't going to do anything. Right now, I think what it's going to boil down to is if Laxatory's 1 TC advantage can allow him to keep things even at this point, because, I mean, right now, Lombard has a pretty serious pop lead, and while it is slowly evening out, it's not evening out fast enough. This whole secret wood line has really kept him in the game, for sure. Like, Lombard still hasn't scouted that, because, yeah, I mean, like, Lombard right now is finally moving his vills to drop down a TC. That is a ridiculously early town center and wood line outside of the Acropolis hill, so I don't blame him for not finding that. But it's definitely been what's keeping Laxatory in this game. Certainly, though, he lost a lot more villagers than I thought, and he's actually really behind, so Lombard still manages to have the lead despite, well, not having a town center over Laxatory for like 5 minutes even. Well, I'm curious to see how this match will play out. One thing I am concerned about, I guess, is that Laxatory right now is taking a lot more damage to his economy, and he's not in a position to trade villagers with Lombard. And it's not necessarily optimal to trade with Lombard anymore. Like, he just lost all of his stone miners. And the thing is that it would be optimal to trade villagers, like 1-for-1 against Lombard if Laxatory had a TC advantage, but now Lombard has the same amount of TCs. They're both on 2 town centers, and Lombard already has a lead, so losing vills like that, losing all those stone miners is really, really suboptimal, for sure. However, Lombard here is going to take a huge amount of damage, and Laxatory is going to answer back by destroying this entire wood line. Unfortunately. I think Lombard's plan probably at this point is to just get a siege workshop out. That way he'll be able to have a defensive mangonel in his base to keep himself alive. The thing is here is that even though both players have been sustaining ridiculous, like, critical eco damage the entire game, it hasn't really given it's actually still given Lombard an edge. Although, things are starting to change potentially. Okay, thankfully Lombard actually is securing gold. Yeah, because Lombard's actually getting zoned off his main gold, something he's never managed to do to Laxatory. He has destroyed Laxatory's farmers for sure, and he has now found this secret base, but he's never been able to really zone Laxatory off his gold entirely, and right here, Lombard can't mine from his main gold, which is definitely going to hurt his troop production, and still though, you know, Lombard has recognized that the situation in his home base is pretty poor, so he put down a 3rd town center actually, and he's mining gold over here, so it's not really a big deal for certain. Lombard's not very attached to the vills in his base right now. Even though both players are trading huge devastating economic damage right here, this is always in favor of Lombard. He's always coming out of these trades on top. Like, he's actually growing the pop lead here. And now Lombard is up to 3 town centers actually, so, and Lax is still on 2. As soon as Lombard discovers this gold, Laxatory is in deep trouble. Because unfortunately the way this gold mine is set up is it's actually really difficult to saturate. It's right next to the edge of the map, so Laxatory actually can't even mine from this deposit or that one at all until he clears those out. I'm surprised that neither player has really opted for a mangonel yet to deal with these pesky crossbowmen to help them defend their home base. But yeah, Lombard's just sitting around, and he's just zoning Laxatory from this TC, keeping him from ungarrisoning his villagers. Lombard did lose a couple guys there for free, but really, his decision-making in this match has been pretty much impeccable. He's really just... somehow he comes out of all these trades on top. It's quite remarkable. He's going to lose a couple vills here for free, though, because, again, neither player really has an answer for the eco damage in their own base, and while that would normally be really bad, Lombard is still slowly inching ahead. He's bringing that pop lead slowly further and further. These town centers, the reason that they're important is that not only do they create villagers, but villagers, which are the the units that gather resources for you, they also serve as a protection point for your villagers. Villagers can garrison inside the town center to protect themselves from the enemy units, and then it basically creates like a zone where the enemy can't enter. And you can use that to protect key resources on the map. So
right here, Lombard has this town center next to both this stone mine and this wood line, and he has all these farmers around here because all those villagers are relatively safe compared to if they were just standing in the middle of nowhere. However, town centers don't have that much range, as we can tell, a range of 6, so Lombard can just have his guys on stand ground, which he does right now, and just mine however he wants. I really like this decision by Lombard here to put down a forward siege workshop and really just put the nail in the coffin. He's been building up a very tiny lead incrementally over time here, and now it's time to press that advantage. He doesn't want to give Laxatory any chances to come back in this game, and I also really like this decision of him to go in and just take Laxatory off this gold again. Just keep the pressure on, attack him from multiple angles, keep him busy. Lax is responding, though, with some crossbowmens. I think one thing as well that's also giving Lombard a big advantage this game is that I don't think I've seen a single skirmisher from Laxatory this game. I think they're all crossbowmen, and Lombard has been occasionally weaving in a couple skirmishers in his regular army comp, and that is giving him an edge in these straight-up fights. Like, if you just throw in a couple skirmishers in with your force of crossbowmen or archers, it can give you a huge, huge edge. Skirmishers are really hard to deal with in the really early stages of the game before you get knights out. There's really not like a straight-up counter to them in the Feudal Age besides maybe scouts, and even that, it's not necessarily optimal. But of course, you can't overinvest in skirms because they cost tons of food, and you need that food to advance the Castle Age. But yeah, it can make a really big difference if your opponent doesn't have any units to counter your skirms, and you know, like, these guys are Mesoamericans, so they can't make knights, and there's not a, I don't think Laxatory has a siege workshop, so no mangonels. And mangonels are usually the go-to answer, and I don't know if I like this decision to put down another TC and not a siege workshop. Yeah, so even though Lombard lost this army for free, again, it's a good trade, and this is not necessarily great town center placement here. While it does give his gold miners someplace to garrison, he can only put like one farm next to this, and it's still not optimally placed right next to the gold mine, so it doesn't actually do the protection job that well. Lombard's decision here to go for mangonels means that he can finally attack this town center outside of the town center's range. Mangonels have a range of 7, range of 6 here. He'll be able to take this thing down, and he'll be able to close this game out here. I don't think Laxatory will really be able to do anything at this point, because he can't even garrison in this TC anymore. You see he's trying to do that right now, but the TC is 2 damage. And yeah, unfortunately that is game. Lombard here with some very, very close mangonel shots. Ooh, nice, nice. So that's just some very, very solid mangonel shots from Lombard there, and he's going to make quick work of Laxatory's army. So definitely, it was a really close game at first, but Lombard definitely got favorable economic trades early on, which gave him a slight pop lead. And even though Laxatory managed to sneak out some villagers to go chop some wood here, he got his second TC up way before Lombard. He also got to the Castle Age first. Even though he did all those things, he still managed to lose more villagers throughout that match. I mean, it was a close match early on, definitely, but really the clincher here is that Lombard, he made like tons of really tiny, really good decisions throughout this entire match, and especially the way he handled the drush at the start was like flawlessly done. Laxatory's drush was a complete waste of time, and you give Lombard an inch, I guess, and he takes a mile, so he got to slowly build up an incremental lead throughout the game, and the decision to build the forward siege workshop definitely clinched that game out for him. Having no mangonels from Laxatory was definitely a problem that game, I think, and that basically ended the game. So, GG, well played, though. This was a really great game from both players, and I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this match. Check out the achievements here. As we can see, Lombard's incremental lead that he built up throughout the course of the game definitely became a much larger lead towards the end. It really mattered. They had like a completely even amount of army, as well as, like if you look at the units killed, the units lost, it's also really, really close. What matters more, I think, is when those units were lost. Is like Lombard threw away a lot of like crossbowmen and skirmishers, but he traded them for villagers. So Lombard was really getting, I guess, favorable trades here, so even though the units killed, the units lost is pretty similar, what matters is what you were trading for, and in this case Lombard managed to build a steady economic lead throughout the entire game. One that he not necessarily should have had. Definitely a very, very, very interesting game, for sure. I got quite a kick out of this one. This is a very quality match. So yeah, well played from both players. Hope you guys enjoyed this match as well. We're going to be jumping straight into the next match in just a moment, so stay tuned, stay tuned. And of course, you guys can check out the rest of the Rest of the matches, I'll be uploading those to my YouTube page as well. And I look forward to casting the rest of the matches of these tournaments, of this tournament as well. So don't forget to give my YouTube page a look and check out the other Age of Empires videos I have there. And thanks again for stopping by to the live stream today and for showing your support, as well as watching this on YouTube. I really appreciate it as always. Pleasure to have you guys around. And we will start the next match in like a minute. So stay tuned. I will see you all shortly.